Yo, yo, what's up? This is Renz. This is Coach Renz, and today is Wednesdays. Today, that means we're talking about relationships on Wednesday. Talking about relationships today on Wednesday. Gonna give a few minutes for people to get on. When you come on, go ahead and just tell me what state you're in, what city you're in, where you at, what's up, how you doing. You got TikTok over here, Facebook over there, YouTube right in front. If you're on my YouTube page, go and subscribe to my YouTube page for the Art of Tantric Love, the Art of Tantric Love on my YouTube page. But today we're going to talk about what could be, to some people, a controversial subject. When we hear people, I see a lot of lives, and on a lot of lives, I see when women are supportive of men, when women are saying that, this is how they should be. Hey, how you doing? I don't like messing up name, but Benny Shackley over there. We got Sharonda, got Hiru on Facebook. Welcome to the live, where we're going to talk about how people, you go on some of these lives that they're talking about relationships, and there's this term. I didn't even know that this term existed until a little over a year ago, that if you have a woman who is in supportive of a masculine man who is saying that she has a role that fits into the relationships of taking care of the man, taking care of the house, doing this thing that people like to call him a pick-me. And, and this is supposed to be something that's derogatory, right? I've never quite understood why it's considered derogatory. Call me old-fashioned, whatever. But I have a different take when it comes to this idea of what a pick-me is. And it actually was one of the banes of a relationship that I was in, when there was this whole pick-me thing that people were talking about. And I was like, what? Like, shit. As far as I'm concerned, that sounds like a good woman, And but before I even talk about women, and I want everybody to understand this. Let me get this right in the very first beginning. Hey, Denise X, how you doing? When people talk about a pick-me, when a man displays that he is in good physical shape, when a man displays that he wants to take care of a woman, when a man displays that he's a provider, when he displays that he's a protector, he puts himself in a good light, and he presents himself. And there's a group of women over there. And let me tell y'all a secret, lady. Let me tell you how much power y'all got, how much power y'all really have. Let me tell you how much power y'all really have. If a man sees 3 women over there and he thinks all 3 are attractive, he doesn't care. Neither one of y'all come 3rd or 4th. Each one of y'all are number 1. All right. Each one of y'all are number 1. He's just waiting to see which one of y'all are going to give him enough body language, eye contact, something that you're picking him. The man is in a pick-me stage, as they would refer to these women who want to support a man. The man is actually in this pick-me stage, saying that, look, girl, I'm fly, I look good, maybe my watch lets you know that I'm not broke, whatever. Pick me, and then we go close the deal. You pick, and we'll go close the deal. It's quite that simple. But it's this derogatory term that has been allocated to women about women being called pick-me's, because they want to support their man, because they display themselves in the same way, because they're not this modern-minded woman that says that, I'm super strong and independent and I don't need a man. I'm telling you. And I'm going to let people come in and have conversation about this. Men want peace. Men want love. Men want to be able to come home to a clean, organized house. We want the kids to be taken care of. We are not out here looking for somebody we got to go home and compete with. We got to compete enough out here in this world. We definitely not trying to go home and compete with our woman. No, we want to go home and get loved up by a woman, get nurtured by a woman, get fed by a woman, get sex by a woman. You know, we want to have fun and enjoy our women. We're not out here trying to compete against our women. But for a woman to say that I'm not gonna, run my mouth all the time. As soon as he walked in the door, I'm not going to, be argumentative all the time. I'm not gonna sit up here and I gotta be right and I gotta get my point and I gotta. Nah, we don't want that bullshit. It's not what we want. You know, I've in my lifetime, I've dated, there's a few women that stick out in my mind that a lot of other women would call pick me women. But I find that those were the best people I've ever been around. That those were the ones that understood how to take care of a man. And those were the ones that understood, more of what a man needs. And for the ones that want to be argumentative and fight and fuss and, try to trample the man, and I want to show you I'm more masculine than the man and all this kind of stuff, or I'm just as masculine, that I can't live in my feminine energy. I got to live in my masculine energy because there's no good men out here and I got to take care of myself and I can't trust you and this, that, and the third. And I got to go through your phone and I got to know everywhere you go. And, I got to rule you. We don't want that. We can't stand that. And when I see these other women jumping on a woman that says that she wants a peaceful household, that she wants to love up on her man, she wants to cook and feed her man, and she wants to take care of the house and the kids and let him go be the provider and give him that stress-free moments to go out there and do what he needs to do to take care of this household. And y'all call her a pick-me in a derogatory format, that like that's a bad thing. That's why a lot of these women are going to stay single for the rest of their goddamn life. Because at the end of the day, a real man, now I'm not talking about a boy, a real man doesn't want all that bullshit. A real man doesn't want all that. Hey, Latanya, Shay, Deborah. Yeah, turn your notifications on, Deborah. People make being submissive seem like it's a sin. Exactly. Like, I want you to think about this. Most women are of one or two religions. They're of the Abrahamic religions, right? Especially most black women. Most black women in America are Christian, right? Now, in your doctrine, it says it's good for a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. You got the whole Proverbs 31 woman. You got the whole thing about women not chasing a man. Okay. Great. What do you think these women are doing when a man approaches or a man is in the vicinity? Do you think they're sitting around, that they're sitting there saying, nope, I don't want to deal with you. Nope, I don't want to deal with you. I'm independent. I got my own goats. I got my own sheep. I got my own land. I don't need you. I don't need you. You think a man from any time frame want to put up with that? No, that dude is looking at this woman saying, can she raise my kids? Will she be a good mother? Will she take care of my household? Can she take care of me? Can she cook? Can she clean? Can she organize? Can she, keep me stress-free? Is she going to be argumentative? If we come in and we have a discussion, and it's a disagreement, and at the end of the day, can I lead her? A good man is saying, can I lead her? Not a good man is saying, damn, that's the kind of woman I want. I want that one that no matter what, no matter how different our opinions are on the subject matter, I want her to argue and then get an attitude and then be like, I ain't cooking shit for you. I ain't sexing you. I ain't doing nothing for you. And you ain't the boss of me, and get all that mouth going. You think any man at any time frame is looking for that? Because that's when I see the women talking about, oh, this woman is a pick me because she's listening to this person or that person, and she's just agreeing when he says that she needs to look at her body as a temple. She's just agreeing when he says that men are looking for women who can raise their kids and be good wives. And and she just to pick me because the woman is agreeing, and she just saying, "Oh, please pick me, pick me. I'm the little docile." No, nobody's asking for a slave, but that's actually what a man is looking for. And every man is a little bit different. Some men hone in on one thing more so than the other thing, but everyone's a little bit different. Most people do not truly understand what the word submissive. Submission is about trust, and that trust is without boundaries. Exactly. 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 You got to be able to trust that person. And that's all submitting is. And people don't realize a good leadership is through servant leadership, where the man leads by serving. The man leads by taking care of the desires of the woman and the desires of the household. That's what a good man does. That's how he leads. And he leads through judgment. He leads through tact, through being just, having justice in the household. He leads by being decisive, by being understanding, by having integrity, and a whole list of other things that are good leadership traits for a man to have. But he can't have all of that if you don't have somebody who's willing to follow it. If you're not willing to follow it, if you're not willing to take heed to the instructions, take heed to the advice, because he should be encouraging. He should encourage her to do great things, to fulfill her life. He should encourage her to make things better. He should be budget minded so that they can have a better financial household. Not, oh, you got your money and I got my money. You go do whatever you want with your money. I'm going to do whatever I want with my money. And here's the bills. And we're going to split these 50-50. And whatever else you do, I don't really give a damn. He should be in the mindset that, like, no, we in this together. This is our money. We're building this together. This is our hedge of protection around a financial protection. Because, hell, I'm 51. In 10 years, I really have to, I mean, I should be considering it now. I always do. But in 10 years, it's really going to be about, okay, well, let me make sure I'm set up for 80. Let me set up for 80 years old, when maybe I can't get, I'm not able to work the same way I work now. And let me make sure that she's in a position where when I pass on, I got life insurance, so that if I pass first, she's taken care of. You should want that, but you can't have that if she's always, no, I want to, go buy this, go buy that, go travel here, go travel there, and go do all this bullshit. And there is room for all of that, but not to the extent that these people want to do it. And it's without, I don't want a man who can't tell me nothing, can't say nothing to me. I'll do what I want to do with my money and all this kind of stuff. Then he said, men need their peace of mind. If can't or don't offer that, get to step and sis. Exactly. And that's what we have to have. That's what we have to have. I'm just trying to let ladies know this is what we have to have. If we don't have this, then we don't want to be with you. If we can't have peace, a real man doesn't want to be with you. If he can't rest, can't come home after the day and rest, we don't want to have that. If he can't come to you and try to provide you rest, but you want to have all this, you want to, give all this pushback because he wants to give you rest, we don't want to deal with that, and and people get mad because what they call pick-me's understand different roles that everybody plays in the house. People talk about, oh, gender roles don't exist anymore. Yes, the hell they do. Yes, they do. Look, I was talking to a guy yesterday, and we was talking about, for him, a woman being able to cook is very, very important. And I told him, I know how to cook, but I love when the woman can cook better than me, because that means that I don't have to, because I don't love cooking. But when I've dated people who couldn't cook as well as I could, hell, I did the cooking because I wanted better food. But it's not my preference. It's not my preference. What should I say? Along with all those things, he also has can't read. He also has to be able to receive her knowledge and wisdom without feeling like she's coming for his manhood. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And what is the key word in a woman being able to get her wisdom and her knowledge expressed to that man? The key word is tact. It's tact. The problem, and I know you, Shay, so I know that this is not you. The problem is that most of these modern minded women don't know how to come to a man with tact. They don't know how to come to a man with the ability to express and communicate with him in a way that's not overly aggressive. That's not aggressive at all. You know, they want to come with the whole rah rah and and I'm gonna tell you, not coming with some softness, not coming, you know, with their tone down. Anybody who's been a friend of mine or dated me or whatever, they know that when that voice start getting, they get a little this is what they're gonna get out of me. This is my universal signal for hey, bring that shit down. What you're not gonna do is yell at me. What you're not gonna do is raise your voice. Whether we're having a passionate discussion, I don't care how passionate you are, bring it down. I don't care how mad you are, bring it down. But too many want to just just want to just be in your ear and just be yelling, you know, saying obscenities or, you know, calling your names and like I don't call names. I never call a woman a name because you can't take that shit back. People always say, "Oh, you take it back." No, you can't. You can't take it back. Once you said it, it's been said. You can't take it back. You can apologize. You may be forgiven, but you can't take it back because shit happened. What you said is what you said. So if you don't learn how to come to a man with tact, then it's not going to come across. It's not going to be well received. I said, wait a minute, we teetering on Kevin Samuel rhetoric. To me, gender roles don't exist, say preferences of roles, but both masculine and feminine energy must coexist. They do, they must coexist. And I never listened to a lot of Kevin Samuels, but here's the thing. A lot of the things that the man said was correct. His delivery may have not been welcomed, but a lot of the things he said was actually correct. If you take away the way it was delivered, a lot of it is correct. People do have these unrealistic ideas, and I'm sorry, but there are gender roles. There are. When it comes to the children, there are gender roles. When it comes to what people should be doing in a household, there are and should be gender roles. Now, I understand most people got to do the two income. Most people got to do the 2-income household. Most people do. I don't like it personally. No. Now, have I always been in a situation where I can do the one income household? No. But anytime a relationship gets to the point of marriage with me, it is going to be a one income household is what everything's going to be based off of. But if both people are married, are making money, all the money comes into one pot. There is no my money, your money. But it is that man's primary responsibility to get his ass out there and provide for the family. Man never has an option to not work. He never has that option. Unless he's got enough residual income coming in, his ass has no option to not work, to not provide. It's not going to happen. Only in the rare occasion, like I have a client, his wife is a neurosurgeon and he's a basketball coach. I understand. She took on the financial responsibility. He took on the house. They switched that role. That's understandable. That makes more sense. That's logical. It is what they wanted and desired to do. He desired to be a basketball coach. She desired to become a doctor. He did his coaching until she became the doctor. And then once she became a doctor, it made sense for him to go home and take care of the kids and take care of the house. That makes sense. But that's not the norm. And that's not how men should be. Every man should understand that it is his primary job to create the income that the household is going to be based off of. That is a gender role. It is that man's primary job to make sure the yard is taken care of, that the house is structurally sound, that, you know, if there's any pests, that he takes care of the pests. Like, I'll be damned, take out the trash and you my woman. We're going to have some problems. Touch the trash, we're going to have some problems. Now, I understand there's the rare occasion when trash builds up. I'm working, like right now in my life, I work 10, 12 hours a day. It might pile up while you're cooking or something. I get it. But I'm still feeling some kind of way because I should have recognized that morning that it's maybe, you know, it's going to be close. But no, there are some gender roles. Sorry. I know we in this modern world where we're trying to say that everybody's equal, and everybody is equal, but equal doesn't mean doing the exact same thing. Equal means that we're respected for everything that we do towards and for each other. That's what being equal is. You know, as equal as it is that I ain't got no damn choice but to take care, but to work. You ain't got no choice but to take care of the house. Okay? Take care of the house. Ain't no choice. We both don't have any choice but to make sure that each other is living in peace and has harmony. We both have that one. But there are different ways that we do that for each other because we're all different people. We're all different people. You know, if a burglar comes into the house, is it the man's job, the man's role to go and attack the burglar and take care and handle the issue to protect the house? Or is it no gender roles and the woman is supposed to go and take care of the house, take care of the burglar, take care of the thief, take care of the person that's trying to carjack him? Who responsibility is that? It's just like I see these sorry, and I'm gonna say it the way I want to say it, and excuse me for a minute because I don't curse a lot, but I can't stand seeing them sorry motherfuckers out there, and you see them pull up to the gas station, and the woman is driving, and she gets out and she pumps the gas, while that sorry little bastard sit there in the car. Now, people say there's no gender roles, but both men and women will get pissed off at that dude, that boy, that sits in the car and let that woman pump the gas. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Deborah could say, I understand that. Just when you reply to me, the internet. Oh. Yeah, my internet blinked for a second on Facebook. All right. Let's see what you say. Hey, I get him first, but I get my licks in. Sit your little short self down. You know, good goddamn going well. You talking trash. You talking trash. You're laying in bed. The alarm goes off. Somebody broke into the house. You ain't getting no licks. You duck and cover. It's the dude's responsibility to get his ass up and go fight for the house, go fight for the family. That's his responsibility. Now, can you jump in on the backside? Sure. Most women will jump in on the backside. But we're not talking about what you would do. Whose responsibility is it? It's that dude's responsibility. It's his. Nobody else. Miss Prissy said, yes, you are correct, unless he's unable to do so for some reason, unable to pump the gas. Right. Now, he disabled. Like when I see them old couples, and then, you know, now, you know, 50 used to be old to me when I was 20, but now 50 is young. But when I see that couple and I see the dude is like freaking 90, and he got his little sweet little young honey, your little young 70-year-old with him, I understand that one. He old. If I see the dude, you know, they got the little motorcycle cart thing, whatever, the little scooter on the back of the car. He old. He probably can't get out like that. I got it. But that ain't who I see all the time. I see these little 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, and I see this woman getting out and she's pumping the gas. Now, that is detestable. That's horribly wrong. Horribly wrong. So we do have our gender roles. But because if a woman takes on her gender roles and live in her femininity, these women, other women want to call them pick-me's, right? That term, when I first heard that term a year plus ago, and you know, I heard the term from a woman who was trying to date me. That's who I first heard that from. And it wasn't that we was having a conversation. It was some podcast she was listening to, and they kept saying "pick me," and I was like, "What the hell is a pick me?" You know, and then I listened to the podcast, and all I heard was a bunch of women who were saying that black men are the worst things, and they hating on black men, except for their black man. He's great. He's the exception. But it was dogging out all other black men, and then they would start dogging these women who was, you know, going against them, and they start calling them pick me's, and I was like, no, those women actually sounds more dateable. They sound more dateable. Because definitely I want to express my feminine role. And here's the thing: there's nothing wrong with having masculine and feminine roles in a relationship. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having those roles and playing your part. Do you realize that if everybody played their part, you'd have a better relationship? You know, the relationship will be better. And if the relationship is better, you have a higher viability, higher possibility of the relationship actually lasting. You know how hard it is to have a relationship? You're talking about two different people who come from two different backgrounds, who had two different parents, who have lived in two different environments, who picked to have two different experiences, and you're trying to merge these two people together. Initially, based on the fact that they saw them, they looked attracted to them, and then as they start talking to them and start getting to know them, they start liking them even more because now they see some more, some more attributes about the person that they like, and then they trying to merge that together. But then when you want to fight over stupid shit because somebody is saying that, hey, this is my role, this is your role, instead of just saying that, hey, I'm gonna live in my femininity, I'm gonna live in my masculinity. That's how it should be. Now, do you have it where some dudes, and I hate that term, toxic masculinity, because there is no such thing as toxic masculinity. Oh Lord, Charlie want to come on. We're gonna let Charlie come on, but I hate that term. It's a horrible term because you can't be masculine and be toxic. You're just toxic, plain and simple. Nothing else more to it than just being toxic. Women should play men's role. Women should play men's role when they're able. Appreciate that, Errol. Able to able to grow a dick naturally. All right. You can't grow one, you ain't one. Hold on for a minute, Charlie. Charlie's gonna talk with us again today. Errol says that I have a pick me and loving every minute of it. I have my role, she has hers, and we both help each other out. Exactly. Exactly. And that's what I'm talking about. Errol's been following me for years now. And you know, the thing about it is that real men, and he is one, they love the woman that these other women have a derogatory attitude about that they call pick-me's. So how you doing, Charlie? What do you have to say?
Oh, I'm fine. Please continue. I'm kind of late, so I don't want to disrupt your flow there. I mean, this is really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
And some of this hinges on the conversation that we was having last week on the live when we was talking about, how some women will downgrade a woman who's a housewife and talk trash about that woman. Yeah. They will call that woman a pick-me woman, because all she did was stand around and say, "Oh, I want to find a guy with the biggest wallet. I want to find the guy with the biggest house, the best looking car, the best looking clothes, and please pick me, pick me, pick me. And I'm just going to be the little submissive woman that takes all his shit." But the thing about it, if you have a man that's truly living in his masculinity, he's not dogging the woman out. He's actually appreciating that woman because that woman allows him to go out and be the best version of himself out here in this world so that he can do better for his family, so that she can have more, he can have more, the family can have more, whether it's financially have more time, have more time, have more availability to different experiences in life. All of that works so well together that it affords people to have a much better life instead of, I see guys who come into my lounge directly after work. And I'm like, dude, don't you ever go home after work? Because like if I had a 9 to 5 and I got a woman at home, when I get off, guess where I'm going? I'm taking my ass home. Cause I want to be with my woman. When last night, when it's 10 o'clock and I'm closing, I'm leaving to go be with my woman. I'm not trying to hang out with y'all. But they don't want to go home because as soon as they walk through the door, they in their ear. And they complaining and complaining and complaining and fussing and complaining. And they like, I don't want it. They'll tell me this is my peace before I go home, which tells me you got a disruption at home. Nobody wants that. A man doesn't want that.
Right. I totally get that. I personally don't believe in bombarding any person, man or woman, with a bunch of stuff when they just first come in the door and that kind of thing. But it's about establishing a relationship, though. I hate that women are synonymous with being considered naggers when they're talking to you about what bothers them. Or a man considered weak if he wants to talk about his day and he's upset about it, and he unleashes on you when he comes home. Because as a matter of fact, my husband and I were just talking. 2 days, for 2 days, he's been having issues, at work, just frustrated with the way things are changing and that kind of thing. And so he's going off. It's not me. I'm listening to him and giving him that space to vent about his day. And I think when it gets to a point where you consider that your woman's nagging you,
right,
you're disenchanted with the relationship. You never did have the connection of a loving relationship where you can talk back and forth about your day and what bothers you or what the kids did at school today and they got in trouble. You're supposed to be able to talk about those things. When it gets to a point where you feel like you're nagging, sometimes, and I'm not saying in all cases, Lorenzo, I'm just saying that sometimes men and women disconnect.
Right.
And now at that point, everything you say and do bothers them. Or if they're not happy in the relationship, every time you open your mouth, they're annoyed. Or, and that's not always it. Maybe there are a lot of women who just like to complain and enjoy just being a jerk. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. Some past hurts or emotional trauma might have caused them to just be jerks. So they may naturally just be jerky women.
Right.
I just feel, though, that a lot of times when men are trying to escape, they're not happy with the relationship overall. Nagging is something they'll call it, but they're probably just don't like who they're with anymore.
That certainly has some validity to it.
Some, maybe not in every case, obviously.
Yeah, because
I think a lot of times that might be it.
Like there's a couple of times where, okay, so like when the first time I got married, I was in the Marine Corps and I was working for this racist dude. I mean, the guy, if any day he can mess with me, he would mess with me. Mm-hmm. So when I would come home, I needed space to decompress. But because she was at home by herself all day and we was out in the country in Jacksonville, North Carolina, as soon as I walk in the door, it was, and I was like, oh my God, like, stop. And we had to come to a realization that I need to decompress from, so I wasn't explaining what was happening in my life at work to her. So I wasn't saying anything because that's what I saw. My grandfather never came home and talked about what was going on in his day and any stress. Like I thought my grandfather had the most stress-free work job, period. Or when he had his construction company, it was stress-free because I never heard him talk about his work day. So for me, it was coming home. You didn't talk about your work day, but it was like all in my ear. All right. I remember one time
Can I ask you a question real quick? I just want to, and please finish your story, but I want to ask a question. Do you think that was because he felt men shouldn't do that, or he felt he couldn't talk to his wife, or he felt she wouldn't care? What do you think the reason was for that?
Well, for their relationship, one, it was the way he was raised that men don't do that. And then the other aspect of it, as I got older and I learned more about my grandparents and the parts of their relationship before I ever came along, it was abusive. And so they had a disconnect. And so they were existing, so they didn't have that connection anymore, if they ever had it at all. Because, we're talking about people who were born in like the 1930s and 40s. So they had a whole different little life thing going on. I didn't really get to see my mom in a long-term relationship, so I didn't know how that functioned. But even in the relationship she had, it was like I wasn't part of it, so you didn't really see the dynamic that much. So a lot of the things I had to learn on my own or watching other people that was around me, things of that nature. You know, I had my uncle. I knew about his relationship, but he was in the military. He was either in Korea or Germany. So I just, you know, you hear things, but I didn't get to physically watch it. So I had learned, you know, based on my grandfather, that you come home and then you just handle the house stuff. You deal with house. Whatever was going on outside the house, you didn't bring it back home. Right. This YouTube keep on Facebook, not Facebook. Hold on, Facebook kind of blinked out for a second. Sorry, Facebook keep blinking out every now and then. So for me, that was my mode. But then I saw very early that this is going to be a problem, because one day I lashed out. And I was like, look, I can't help that you're bored. Go read a book or something. And then I got fussed at for that one. Yeah. But then I went, you know, I talked to one of the older guys in my unit and I told him what happened and everything. He was like, look, man, she's sitting at home by herself all day, ain't got nobody to talk to. Of course, as soon as you walk through the door, she wants to talk to you. So you need to understand that dynamic of what's going on. So he just told me, you know, so we went and we had a conversation, and so that we can communicate and kind of understand each other and what each other was going through. So we just made a deal. I come home, I get 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, you know, she gets to, you know, unload. So it wasn't, well, I initially thought it was whining, but then I realized what the situation was, which made me start thinking deeper on it thereafter about, if this is the situation, let me evaluate all the things surrounding it on her side, my side, so that I can come and handle the situation better. Right. Which is what I began to do thereafter, you know, and like, I would go home, like, even like your husband's having a stressful couple of days, right? Currently, I've had a very stressful couple of days. And today is, well, this morning when I have this meeting, it may become stressful because I have to make a big decision today. We'll figure out a situation. But anyway, so when I go home, and I still have to take into account that I need to ask my lady, how was your day? You know, how was your day? What was going on with your day? Even though she gets to talk to people all day, still, let me ask you how your day. And if she has some stress and some things going on, you know, one of the things I look for context clues. Am I listening or am I fixing? Right? Because I have to learn that not every time your woman wants you to fix something, she just wants you to listen. But one of the things we said earlier, tact makes a big difference. How you're talking to me is going to make a difference in how I respond to you. You know, if it's the same nagging, and I'm gonna say nagging because when it's that, and she and you just going off, we're not having a conversation. I'm not even listening to you, because now it's Charlie Brown. I know you, Charlie. I know you're Charlie on there, but that, you know, the Charlie one, the teacher, it becomes that. So yeah, it can be nagging. Now, when I was with this woman who I had to realize a year and a half later that what she was just being controlling and manipulating me to be controlling. You know, the one I told you that banned you. You know, that was a whole nother thing. And even when I tried to delve in and say, okay, why are you this way? And we went all the way back to her childhood. And then I was like, okay, you need some counseling to get this out of your system. So even in working with the counseling, it wasn't working the way I had hoped it would work. You know, I had to realize that, no, this is somebody trying to operate as a masculine and somebody who's trying to control everything around them. That's not going to work. So, you know, at a certain point, I had to let that situation go, especially when she became overly aggressive to where things became physical. I definitely had to let that go. So, but that's when you're talking about your outside stuff. Most men, what they consider nagging is the things that are directed towards them. You know, now, but the first thing we have to do is evaluate, is what they're saying true? Right? So if I'm never coming home and taking out the trash, is that true? But it's nagging if there's a whole bunch of attitude behind it. And sometimes the attitude comes when they have to say it over and over and over again. So But a good man, a good masculine leader is going to fix the situation and not let it continue to go on and on and on. You know.
Yes.
But for those who are boys, they're gonna let the situation just go, and then other things start stacking on top of it. And next thing you know, it's what was small is now something that's very big. You know.
Right. So yeah, you have some really great points about, and I'm so glad you interjected some things that kind of add some balance. Mm-hmm. But I do want to say something to kind of balance it even more. You know what you were saying. Deborah had said something just a moment ago to say, you know, women sometimes when they're, you know, having a rough day or whatever, and they're in the car first, they may, you know, decompress so they can come in with a level head and do what they need to do. And I totally agree with that. And again, like I always try to say when I get involved in these conversations, I don't want to bash a man, and I don't want women to be bashed. What I want us to do is understand that we all got stuff, and you talked about that again today, and it really does play a part. It can't be ignored. It can't be, you know, you do have to ask yourself, well, okay, why, as a woman, I need to ask myself, why can't he talk to me?
Right.
Especially if he's angry, upset, annoyed about the day. I, as a good woman, supportive of my man, wants to get to the bottom of it so I can help him and be there for him and help him decompress and be his peace or whatever. Because you can't have peace in your home and a real loving spiritual connection with your partner if you never talk to each other about what hurts, what bothers you, what annoys you, what frustrates you. Your decompression is okay to spend some time by yourself. I think that's healthy for both men and women. It's not a man thing where, oh, as a man, I just need to decompress. A woman, a working woman, who hasn't been afforded the ability to be at home with her kids and take care of her kids, for instance, and she has to work and come home, cook, and take care of the kids, and take care of their appointments, and talk to the teacher about how they're doing in school, and all of those things. And a lot of times, in some cases, not all, the man does not participate because he's working, can't get off work, and those things typically, because he's decompressing from the day, he's not, in some cases, not participating in like the woman is. And sometimes it gets to a boiling point, and she's frustrated, and then then on top of that, she has to be ready sexually. Now that's a whole other thing.
Yep.
Women are emotional creatures, and so if you come in and she's saying, "Hi, honey, you know what's going on?" And you know, you seem like you're upset about something. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that right now. I'm just gonna go down in the man cave and have a moment. You know, maybe watch a game. If you don't mind, could you please bring me a sandwich and something to drink? Oh, okay, but you sure you don't want to talk or whatever? Blah blah blah. After a while, if he keeps doing that and she's trying to get close, because in her mind, let me just make sure you understand how some women are. And I'm not talking about the woman who's a bull in a china shop and don't know how to express herself in a loving manner. I'm not talking about her right now. I'm talking about the loving woman who just wants to get close to her man and know what's bothering him so she can rub it out, you know, so she can,
right.
You know, I know my man ain't gonna be going through this today and stuff. I need to give him some solutions, some wisdom, something to help him out. That woman sometimes can feel frustrated because she's trying to help him and he's looking at it as nagging. Right. You know, women are nurturers. They nurture their sons. When their sons fall on the floor and they skin their knee, they don't say, "Oh, get up, boy, you know, be a man, you know, be tough." They say, "Oh, my baby." They'll pick him up and rub his knee and get the dirt off and say, "You okay, son?" and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so that doesn't leave you just because you're married to a man.
No,
that's someone else's son who you, if you're a wise woman, a spiritual woman, a intuitive woman, you're going to say, that man needs something that he hadn't gotten because he thinks he has to deal with his problems by himself. And I'm here to be his helper. And I'm going to get him over that so he can understand he got me. I can talk to him. I can help him through this. He's not going to have to deal with his frustration, hurt, anger, sadness on his own because he got me. So if you come in, I'm saying, please, honey, talk to me, even though that's annoying to you, to me, I don't get that you think I'm annoying as much as I'm focused on, can I help? This is my life partner. I don't want to go through the life knowing that he's not able to talk to me. And so you just have to be people who are able to have conversations with each other where you respect and understand the differences, but you understand the dynamics that you have and resolve issues that bring you closer together so you can decompress and talk to each other in a loving manner.
That's true.
Right.
And here's the man perspective dynamics of that situation.
Okay.
Like you said, little boy falls, the man is gonna say, boy, just rub some dirt on it and get on up and keep moving. Right? Where the wife wants to nurture and pick the boy up and hug him and all that kind of things, right? And tell him it's gonna be all right. True. That's how you do your son. And then when you get married, you got your man, you want to do him the same way, right? But the thing that's missing is that you actually want to do him the exact same way. When you pick up that little boy who's crying, you hug him and you hold him and you pet him, right? And you like, oh, baby, it's okay. So when he comes home and he don't want to talk about his struggle, his struggle that he's been dealing with, because trust me, on the way home, he done thought about it, he's thinking about it, he's looking for solutions and all of that thing, or he's just frustrated. When he gets home and then you want to talk about it, treat him like that little boy. Baby, I just want to go downstairs, watch TV for a little bit. Can you make me a sandwich? Make the sandwich. Come downstairs. Cuddle up under him. Don't press him to talk right then. He doesn't want to talk. It is far better to just say, okay, let me create a soft environment where he can relax, and I'm not going to press him. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Last night. So yesterday, I'm telling my lady, I told her what was frustrating me and what I'm dealing with right now. And, she sends me a text and says that tonight will be a good firewood night, fire pit night. Cool. I get there and she already got the hot cocoa with the peppermint schnapps already in it. She got the seating all situated. She had the fire. Now I was mad because I start the fire. I burn the fire, I am man. I make the fire. I bring home the meat, So I was like, hey, I'm glad you got all this set up. Don't start my fire now. That's my job. But she created an environment where I can just come and sit and decompress. And she wasn't pressing me about the things that I have been going through yesterday. Mm-hmm. She let me come to my own terms of when I wanted to talk about it. And I understand women often, as soon as they hit the door, if they've been frustrated with something, most women, they want to talk about it right then. Most men don't want to talk about it. So just like you hold your son, oh, baby, you scraped your knee, it's okay. Your husband, same thing. Your man, the same thing. Boys don't change in that respect. We like that nurturing takes away the pain. So if you gave us that, you can be around him, not saying that you got to be away from him, but just cuddle up. He on the sofa, just cuddle up on, in your favorite position and just sit there. You ain't got to say nothing. Let him get ready to talk about it when he's ready to talk about it. And I guarantee he'll communicate with you a lot better in that format when you're not pressing, because evidently he's been pressed at work or whatever the situation is. He don't want to be pressed when he gets home,
Right.
But if you can be there in comfort.
Yes, I can understand that. That's about knowing your man, knowing the situation. Earlier, I was just explaining what the mindset is.
Right. No, I understand. And that's the learning of each other, because
exactly, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. If she were to, if Angelina were to tell me throughout the day that these people getting on her nerves, they frustrate her and all this kind of stuff, you know, I'm going to be in a position ready to listen whenever I see her physically. Because you know, and at that point, because I understand the difference, I'm going to say, you know, how did the rest of your day go? Or you want to tell me about them heathens at work, you know, or what happened? And now I'm listening because that's what she wants at that moment. But for me,
would you mind if I read Shay's comment?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Shay says, when a safe, warm space has been created, once you cross that threshold, that should be a place of refuge and sanctuary. And I totally agree. Which is what you were saying, Lorenz. That's what it's about: understanding each other and providing a space where, too, if this is the level your man is at, where he doesn't want to come right in talking about his troubles, that's where he is.
Yeah.
Then, in order to get to a place, if that's in the cards, where there's more transparency, then you have to meet him where he is, and be that sanctuary for him where he's at.
Yeah, and
I agree.
And that's how I became, because, you know, I have this habit, and it's probably not the best habit, but if everything is going haywire on the outside, I tend to not want to bring that home. Right? I just want to come home to the sanctuary. Every now and then I may say something about if things are rough financially, or, you know, business has been slumping or something like that. I may bring it up in parts, because to me, I'm not trying to stress her out. I'm trying to make sure she has her peace as well. Charlie fell off somehow, but I'm trying to make sure she has her peace as well. But like she was saying, though, I had to learn that I can't wait till the last second to start telling my woman about what's going on. You got to know through the process, so that there's a level of understanding that she already is going to have through the entire process. You know, when if business ain't right, it ain't right. Need to be able to get out of my ego and be able to say that. And the woman has to be willing to understand that I don't want to hear it as soon as I walk through the door. You know, give me some space, give me some time. You know, you can cuddle up with me, but, you know, don't go in. Don't go in yet. Let me open that door. You know. But to a lot of people, they'll call that a pick-me wife, or a pick-me dude, or a weak man who does that. That's why men don't express their emotions. What did Earl say? Earl said, well, first, Miss Christie said that her mother, she was talking about how her mom was a stay-at-home mom. She wouldn't complain unless there was something going on in the house that, you know, that her father needed to fix, you know. And likewise, she was married 27 years and with children, and we both discussed our day with each other, and you should. And Errol, on his super chat, said, because super chat's always gonna get read, my wife will snuggle under me first, then we talk about each other's day. But if I'm frustrated, she'll let me decompress and won't talk, but just snuggle. He said the volume is skipping. I don't know how to change that part. I got the microphone. Maybe I just talk a little bit louder towards, because I see it's not catching everything. I'm gonna start bringing my microphone for this YouTube one. But see, Earl, he's saying it right.
I don't know what happened.
I have no idea, but I don't know if you heard. But Earl was saying exactly what I was saying, that his wife will come and snuggle up under him, and then they will talk about their day. When she knows he's frustrated, she'll just snuggle and won't say a word. You know, giving him that time to be able to decompress and take in the refuge that is home. You know,
that has to be discussed. To expect a woman to just automatically know that, and she has her own. maybe she saw in her home with her parents, how not talking made them drift further and further and further and further apart, because everybody doesn't have that little perfect reaction to the quiet and to the decompression, because everyone has triggers. People have things that, trigger them. Like, you being quiet may say you're disconnecting and you are no longer, you don't trust me with your heart. Everybody's not going to see it as it is for you. That's why you have to be able to articulate how you feel. You say, hey, honey, I know you're trying to help me and I really appreciate it. But the way I'm wired at this stage in my life, I need time to myself. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong or that I don't love you or that you don't have some advice that could help. But if you don't mind, I'd like to have some time to myself when I come home. If for whatever reason I feel I can talk or I want to talk about it, I'll let you know, because I know you're a safe place for me to do that. But please don't take it personal. I just need some time to myself. Even though you may not want to go through all that, that's necessary and that's healthy, as opposed to just saying, you should know I don't like talking about my feelings, because that seems gay to me. Some men actually think they are acting like a female if they say, life is tough for me. I'm bothered by something. Men are killing themselves. And it's not just because they thought it was a neat thing to do. They're hurting and they don't feel comfortable to talk to anybody, because if they do, they're gay. If they cry, even if they lost their parent and they cry, that's a sign of femininity or weakness. And I find it interesting that men can't talk to their women about a lot of things, but they will talk to their friends about the very things they say they can't talk to you about. That is not, anything controversial or that she would, can't handle. They just rather talk to their boys about it. And not that there's anything wrong with talking to your friends, but I think the question should be asked, if I can talk to my friends about this particular thing, what is it about my wife that makes me not be able to do that with her? I think that's a question that should be asked when you have a situation like that. Why can I talk to them, but I can't talk to her? And I'm not talking about anything like, I like this lady named Susie at the job and stuff. And, I ain't talking about stuff like that. I'm talking about things that you can generally talk to anyone about. Why would I choose to talk to my friends about it, but not my woman?
Because there's a personality. My TikTok one just went. It went dead, I guess. TikTok. Yeah, I think somebody must have reported me.
Oh wow! Why? What happened?
Probably because they reported me for hateful behavior.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh wow!
That is funny.
The age we are in, where you're censored for that right there is becoming a thing where we're entering into the social credit score arena, where if the people who run these platforms don't like what you're saying or how you look or your attitude about something, they can cancel you.
Wow. That is, but see, that's part of what I'm talking about. It's part of what I'm talking about. You got and you got these people. You got these I put that subject matter on there because about the pick me deal, because there are some women who look at a woman who actually takes care of her man as being so derogatory, as being something so negative that they just they hate it. They can't stand it. And they want they want their agenda pushed. And if you say that it's okay for a woman to be soft, to live in her femininity, and for a man to be masculine, then they look at it only as enslaving them or controlling them in that format. They don't look at it as a methodology for a couple to actually exist in harmony together.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Because and a lot of them, I recognize they've been hurt.
Yes.
By some of these boys that they've dated, and I didn't get to that part yet before they complained, but they it's this thing where I picked a dude that I thought was good. He wasn't good, but you knew he wasn't good. I can sit here and lie and say that I didn't see. Well, there's a couple times I didn't see the red flags at least twice in a relationship until much later. But at some point you see it, and then I just chalked it up to I didn't evaluate long enough. Like Miss Prissy said that she was, she bypassed these types of conversations because she dated her man for over a year before they got married without living together. But there was one time that I rushed into a marriage. I had got divorced and I felt like I needed to be married. I have to be married. I gotta be married. And I rushed into a marriage, right? Without really taking the time. But the person did show me everything I wanted to see for a good year and a half. So I rushed into it. And because I rushed into it, I then saw the other red flags. I picked wrong. I took on the responsibility myself. And the women who are pissed about the pick me woman, they are upset because they picked wrong, but they don't want to take the responsibility on themselves that they made a bad decision. You saw that he was rough. You saw that he was irresponsible. You saw that he didn't have integrity. It was problematic early in the relationship. You saw that, but you still stayed with him. Then you had a child with him. Now you mad because he doesn't want to have anything to do with your child because you didn't evaluate, is this the kind of man that's going to be there for the child no matter what happens between you and I? You didn't take the time to figure that out. Yeah. And so now you're mad at all men because you made a bad decision about who you're going to be with. And so now they got this rah-rah shield up, and they're saying that, no, I'm going to take care of myself and I'm doing everything myself and I don't need a man. And, I can work and I can do all things because I'm a woman, and I'm great and I don't need him. But yet you want him. And then you want, and
like we were talking about last week. That's true. We were talking about last week, everybody. We were talking about how it's not that a lot of women don't want a man in their life. They say they don't need a man because a lot of times the person who says that they're angry about the failed relationships that they had. And it's just their way of dealing with the emotional hurt of not finding a successful companion yet, and they're frustrated. So in their anger, they might say, I don't need a man. Right. But I wanted to address this pick me thing on a couple of fronts here. One of the things is, I first like to say that we as women have to understand that there's a sisterhood that is being neglected and that is not being utilized, and where the older women can't talk to the younger women because we're in a generation where women in general are competing with each other. Those who are not healed anyway are looking at everybody as competition. Older women are trying to act and trying to behave like the younger women, feeling that they have to, show their bodies off and, be alluring and seductive and doing the things that they see these young personalities doing, who are doing it for the purpose of getting likes and being influencers on social media. And you have the young people trying to assert themselves and being grown, not really taking the advice of the older women to help them out. And then, of course, like we talked about, the social engineering. You have people in high places who control media, who control entertainment, purposely engineering content that undermines specifically Black people and their relationships. So you have to be aware of all of these things going on in order to take control of your mind and your relationships, because if you don't, you'll be subjected to these ideas. Now with the pick me thing, women who typically feel that they don't measure up have a problem with a person who is doing what they consider the most, doing all the extra stuff, trying to show I'm a good pick, I'm a this, that, or the other. Like I saw one woman that I respect what she does. She's a relationships coach, and I respect what she does, and I think she's really good at it, and I think she's beautiful and all of that kind of stuff. But I was kind of disappointed at something she did one day. And what she did is she got online and she was talking about how natural she is, natural curves, her own natural hair, and not wearing much makeup. And she was going on and on and on about her naturalness and her femininity and all that kind of stuff, while shading women who wear weaves and makeup and get surgeries and all that kind of stuff. What I had a problem with that is that here's this beautiful woman who understands how to connect to the masculine man, mm-hmm. and be feminine and all that kind of stuff. But I felt in that moment, she seemed to be, in my eyes, based on the way she kept going on and on about herself and how natural she was, and this is all me and all of that kind of stuff. That energy seemed to be one of putting people down in order to promote herself.
Right.
And I thought that was a kind of insecurity in my eye, and I think it did not help her audience, because you being all so-called natural, that's awesome. That's great. But you have an audience of young women who are looking to you for guidance. Putting them down, and she was putting them down. She kept trying to correct, what you call qualifying it or kind of downplaying it. But the words she used and the energy she was not that of a loving older person trying to help people. She wasn't saying it in a way that sounded loving and helpful. It was more like, men, look at me. I'm the better choice. I'm not fake this or fake that. And what I've learned about men in general is if they want you, they could care less about your fake parts and all that kind of stuff. If they have a connection with you, they're not worried about those things. Fake anything doesn't make you a fake person. And with this same woman, and I'll wrap my thing up so you can talk. I'm so sorry. But I was just going to say, this same woman who was putting them down, although she didn't have a weave in her hair, she had some kind of straightening done to her hair.
Right.
And, that's not kinky curly. And then she had on eyelashes, and she had on some makeup, and had on polish on her nails and stuff like that. So she really isn't all natural when you think about completely natural. But she felt the need to put other people down while lifting herself up. So I think basically, to wrap it up, it's a competition thing. Women feel sometimes if they're not secure in themselves and they're not finding love, some of them feel they have to put others down in order to appeal to a man. What do you think about that? What do you think about a woman you're trying to date and get with, who you see putting other women down while saying, hey, but look, baby, I'm all natural. Everything about me is real. I ain't like these fake people out here with they fake this, that, and the other. What do you as a man feel about a woman you're trying to date who does that?
Yeah, and see, I don't, and that's part of the problem with the whole negative impact that people are having with this whole pick me stuff, right? Is that it is. It's a disconnection within the sisterhood that's going on. And part of it is just, I've experienced all this negative stuff, so I don't want to glorify any woman that does those kinds of things. I'm just lazy. I don't want to, if I got to bring my man his dinner because he works late, if I got to take care of the house, or if I got to do all these things that they consider to be extra in order to make my man happy, they rather dog out all the other women, because that misery loves company. That misery of, I just want to do what I do. I want to just go to work and come home. And if I want to tell him what I want to tell him, if I want to say things the way I want to say, if I want to cuss him out and all these things, I want to stay in my negative energy. And I want all the other women to be in their negative energy as well, because if they're in their negative energy, it's going to validate my own personal negative energy. And then in that way, I can feel, in my validation, I can then force men to accept that this is the woman you're going to get. So you might as well fall in line with it and just become one of me. Because if I can get rid of all the so-called pick-me's, then the man's only choice is me. And of course, the passport bros have shown that they're not the only choice. You can go other places now and find somebody who's going to take care of you the way that you desire to be taken care of. And there's nothing wrong with that. But women combating each other, instead, you should look at and say, well, I'm this woman. The type of man I desire is this man. I see one. Let me find out what it is that this man needs, desires to have in his life, so that we can grow and be a unit together, instead of let me downplay every other woman who's trying to say that, well, this guy, and I know that earlier, Shay said that it sounds a little Kevin Samuel-ish, but if you have a high earning man, how much money you make, the woman makes, he doesn't give a damn about.
That's
he could care less.
He is not concerned. That's not a concern of his.
One of his biggest concern is, am I going to have to compete with this woman? Is she going to argue with me all the time? Is she going to fuss all the time? Or is she going to complain all the time? Is she going to spend all my dang on money? How much of my money can I keep? How much can we invest? That's what he's going to be concerned about. That's why, like, when I did the video about the lady who said that she won a $250,000 wedding and called the dude that he got a broke mentality because he doesn't want to spend $250,000 on the wedding, it's because he's got a different mindset. If you want that kind of man who wears his manhood in his wallet and how much of it he spends, then go find that man. But don't downgrade your women, your sisters, who are saying, no, I want to cater to my man. I want to make sure that he has peace. I want to become his greatest counselor, that part.
Do you also feel, because this is always my biggest thing. I am definitely the person who takes care of my man and caters to him and all that kind of stuff. But what that catering, what that means for me is that I'm going to naturally be attentive, but at the same time, there are moments when you may feel like I'm, as a woman, is doing all this giving, and maybe your man doesn't feel like he has to give as much, or he gives only in ways that are not as sacrificial as maybe what you do. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I do things like massage my husband's feet, give him pedicures and things like that, massage his shoulders or whatever like that. Of course, cook his food and wash his clothes and washes his hair and, washes it, cut it and all that kind of stuff. And I really, really attend to him. And things he does for me is like he, will take my car to be, repaired, to go get me gas or whatever, and bring the groceries in for me, clean the dishes for me, and things like that. But one of the things that I wish he would do more is the things that I give. When it's the physical, touch in terms of giving him massages and rubbing his feet and all that kind of stuff. And that's not something he does. It doesn't mean he doesn't do anything. I'm not going to say you do nothing for me, just because I do this and you don't do that. But there's that balance where, again, you have to talk about what it is you want, not just say they're not doing anything because they're not doing specific things that you want. People show love and attention in different ways.
Exactly.
And
equal don't always mean doing the same equal things, doing the same thing.
Right. But if you have specific needs, though, and desires as a man or a woman, it is your job to verbalize that. You can't just expect a person to just know. I had a moment where I felt, well, he should just know. That was when I was young. He should just know. But then I grew up and wisdom kicked in. Mm-hmm. And I understood that is not realistic. That's, as a matter of fact, that's kind of simple, because it's like, how's a person going to know your specific needs when they're operating in what it is they know to do and what they're comfortable with?
And it's like Shay just said it brings about more levels of intimacy when you're doing that. But here's the breaking of the sisterhood again. Young lady over on TikTok, I opened up my other TikTok page, and she's saying that pick-me's are depressed and disassociating.
Okay.
So she just took everything that you just said as being you are depressed and you're disassociating because you choose to cater to your man in the ways that makes him happy and peaceful, that gives him that charge of energy to go out there and produce a lifestyle for you.
Can I be devil's advocate for a moment?
Go ahead.
Maybe just kind of try to understand where she's coming from, not justifying, not saying that's right, not at all. Just I'm trying to understand her and trying to give her a voice and stuff, because when I don't like to make a blanket thought. I don't know what she thinks and feels, so I'm gonna put it out here. And Shay, I want you to correct me if I'm wrong. I feel that some people, some women who might be considered a pick-me, in some cases may be inauthentic, in that, especially like on a social media platform, they're trying to, okay, like say you and I are having a conversation and we're trying our best to add balance and perspective on our sides as male and female.
Right.
And so and because of that, we are we're able to kind of say how we both think and let the audience kind of feel they're being represented. But when it comes to this pick-me thing, it's very divisive, and it suggests that I feel that women who try to do these things and try to be seen are inauthentic, don't really do those things, but trying to shine on social media above the other people, and maybe siding with the men on everything, never siding with their own kind, never trying to hear what you're trying to say as a woman to, for women, but just siding with the men. I don't like that kind of pick-me energy. What I believe is that it's okay to understand a man's perspective. It's okay to say the man is right in what he feels and thinks and all that kind of stuff. But as a woman, there still should be a loyalty to the womanhood, where you're trying to understand why certain women do what they do, and a balance. And what the pick-me thing and the attacking the calling a person a pick-me because they just want to do the right thing by their man and take care of him, I think that is coming from a place of hurt, if that was her position. But if she's talking about the woman who ain't really about that life, you know what I'm saying? But just like, I do everything for my man. Ain't nothing I would do for my man. He ain't got to buy me nothing. He ain't got to do nothing for me. He ain't got to be a man and protect me from his friends being disrespectful and nothing and stuff. I just want to take care of him because I realize men, they be out here working hard and stuff, and they need a ride or die woman. They don't need one nagging at them all the time. That energy of putting other women down again, that's the problem I would have. And that's when I would use the word pick me. For me, pick me does not represent a classy woman who loves her man and understands the importance of being in synergy with her man and taking care of him and loving on him and showing gratitude and appreciation for the things he does to make life easier for her, to give her a place to live and to make sure she feels loved and all that kind of stuff. That's quite different from the person who is making an example or talking about women who put other women down to make themselves look good in the eyesight of a male audience because they are desperate for a companion.
Yeah, and I think.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, and on YouTube, Serenity she phrased it perfectly. You kind of beat me to my. She kind of beat me to my punchline towards the end of this, but it's okay, Serenity. But she did say there's too many generalized terms in today's dating world. But the main thing that she said was the difference between a pick-me and a good woman is a pick-me is a woman that will take anything and work with anything and work it, even though she could probably do much better. It's equivalent to Captain Save-A-Ho. Exactly. That's the thing. Yeah, and that's the difference.
Isn't that what I was saying? I didn't say it as eloquently as she did.
But that's the thing. A lot of the women who are so angry and want to downplay and put down every woman that takes care of a man are putting down good women. And that's what a real man is looking for, is a good woman. Not one that's just, not the one that'll take anything. Not the one that'll, try to take a shit sandwich and make it taste good. Not that.
But she's touching on, that young lady is touching on what I was talking about. There is a difference. I think somebody is like putting them all in that.
And that's the problem.
And they're not the same.
That's the problem. They're putting them all in the same category, right? But when you just got two categories, you got pick me and you got, modern day minded, I'm super independent, don't need a man. Most men we will rather venture into, we have a better shot at finding a good woman in this category than we'll find a good woman in that category.
Well, let me say this.
But there is a third category that's called a good woman.
Yeah, there's a third category, and I want to let you speak on that category. I'm not going to speak ahead of you because I want you to get that thought out, but I wanted to put this in there real quick. And when you choose the pick me who's performing like a circus animal, trying to be seen, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a lemon. You're going to get something that does not measure up to what they said, or they'll be so. I know women who will bend over backwards for their man, doing everything for them, but then he does not respect them because they realize the desperation and insecurity that is operating. That is, eventually, after they get everything they want, after they suck you dry, they start to realize, my God, you are extremely insecure. You're on me like white on rice. I can't even get a breather. Oh, can I do this? Can I do that?
Yeah.
After a while, in a lot of cases, I'm telling you what I've seen happen.
Oh, we're going to put her back on the street. Huh? She getting put back on the street.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. At first, the pick me, the negative, the one who's not authentic, the one who's trying to buy your love, buy your loyalty, buy your commitment, who's just performing to get you. See all the things I do for you. See how I love you. Ain't no other woman gonna treat you like this. I'll give it to you all night long, baby. Even if I'm tired or emotionally drained, you can have my body. You can have my soul. After a while, the man be like, damn, you kind of thirsty and desperate, and this isn't fun. I mean, I want somebody to take care of me and love me, but I don't want some, loser, who's so desperate and thirsty for attention and love that they just go along with whatever I say and whatever I do. And that is the difference between a woman who's just quality, who just understands relationship and wants to take care of her man and wants to make him happy. And there's a balance. The balance is necessary in order for you not to expose yourself as a person who is just trying to buy love.
Yeah.
As opposed to being worthy of it.
And that's the thing. And Shay just said it, and well as T Green on TikTok just said it at the same time, that T Green said it in a way that I always said, don't start anything you can't continue. And Shay is saying that they can only keep that circus act up for so long. And I've seen that in my own life. And that's what I was talking about earlier. I've seen that in my own experiences where you demonstrate something because somebody gave you the playbook on this is how Renz is. This is how what he needs. This is what he's looking for. And so you play the role. And this is the worst kind of ones. They play that role. And then when they got you, they think they got you. And they say they got you. They think they got you. And then they start relaxing and showing their true self. And at that moment, it's like, oh, okay, you did all of that. You was sexing me the way I wanted to be sexed. You was cooking. You was cleaning. You was driving across town. You was, on a Tuesday, if I wanted to go to an event, you was ready to go. But now all of a sudden we together, we married or whatnot. And now you tired on every Tuesday. You don't want to go nowhere. Now it's the weekend. We got to wait for the weekend for everything. Now you don't want to dress the way you was dressing. You got to go now.
But what about the one who keeps doing all those things? I'm talking about the one who keeps doing everything for you and attending to you, but she's over the top. She's doing the most.
Now, when she's doing the most, that's going to get on the guy's nerve. Exactly. And he's going to, but usually that relationship is only going to last so long because he can't breathe. Let me tell you, men.
That's the pick me mentality.
But see, they're both. They both have it in the negative format when they do it just to get you and then stop. But then when they're so overbearing that they're looking to control you, they don't want you to breathe. They don't want you to be anywhere without them. Most men and someone they need, and women too, but they need space. I can definitely say this for me. We need some space to be just ourselves.
Yeah, just to be an individual.
And every man got a different span of time. I get enough space in my work day that when I'm done with my work day, I want to be with my woman. That's where I want to be. When I go somewhere, I'd rather hang out with my woman than hang out with the boys. That kind of thing. Some dudes, they need that one day out the week that they go hang out with the boys. Or that one day out the week that, like, there's guys who come in here, they smoke cigars, their wives or girlfriends don't smoke cigars. They need those moments when they can come here and smoke cigars and just be in their realm. Now, there's one guy, his wife would come and she would drop off his dinner, at the cigar lounge, but she wasn't doing it for show. She dropped it off. She didn't have to hang. She didn't hang around. She didn't do nothing. Every blue moon, she'd hang around. But 99% of the time, she come, drop it off, bam, she out the door. She go home and she's doing whatever she want to do, and spending that time. And then they come home and they'd home together. And sometimes because she would do that, he would often go home instead of going to the cigar lounge, and they just sit out on the back porch and they sit there and, she did like little sweet cigars every now and then. And and they would just have that time together. That was just a good woman. That's just a good woman.
Yes,
she ain't pick me and she ain't circus pick me. She ain't pick me and I'm gonna stop, and she ain't doing the circus.
Pick me. Think about this, Lorenz. She's not a pick me. The term pick me is quite different. What she is,
she's a good woman.
Quality. They don't get online trying to prove they're a good woman.
Right.
They just see the man they want, and they date them and they talk to them, and they have a private expression of what they intend to bring to the table to honor and please each other. That's a private matter. Pick-me's are social media characters.
Right.
You know, they get on every post where a man is talking about what he doesn't like about women and saying, see, well, oh, I don't do that. Oh, I'm not that way. I'm better than that. I never in my whole life. Oh, I would do this for a man. A man deserves it. Da, 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 da. So that in my humble opinion, I would not call a quality woman who just understands relationship and men and want to be in a relationship where she can be her authentic, feminine, nurturing self should be equated with a pick-me personality.
No.
In my humble opinion, I think they're quite different. And a man would be best to steer very clear of a person who's publicly always putting other women down to elevate themselves. Never, ever, ever. I don't care how pretty she is. I don't care, how solid she seems. Any woman who has to put down another woman in order to elevate themselves, they're telling you, run, Renz. Run for your life. Do not entertain me at all. If you do, and she starts acting a fool, overdoing it, doing the most, or just stop altogether, that's right. On you.
And that's on you. That is exactly on the dude to go ahead and stay with that woman, because that is the kind of woman who's going to chop down everything. And before you know it, she's going to isolate you. And then you're being controlled by that situation, or you're going to get fed up with it and you're going to leave. And then she's going to turn into the bitter woman. But the one that takes care of you, that's just a good woman. It's just a good woman. Just like you can have, a simp of a man, and you can have a good man.
Yes.
You got the one that's, the same. You got the same kind of dude they catering to every. There's nothing wrong with catering to your woman. I'm not saying a man can't cater to his woman, but there's the difference when the guy can't breathe without his woman's permission. That he can't go nowhere. Absolutely. He can't say anything. He's trapped by knowing that if I say this, or if I do this, if I'm 5 minutes late, then she's going to be angry and is going to create this whole argument. So let me make sure I'm home before the lights turn on, kind of deal. You get that same, but that dude who just want to take care, oftentimes now, that guy that just wants to provide and take care of his woman and cater to his woman, they call him a simp. Right? Because there aren't enough divisions.
Let's define who is calling this man a simp. Who? What type of woman is calling that man a simp?
Oh, usually the type of man and woman that's calling this man a simp is your overly masculated person. Is your person who is they're working in their masculinity to the point where they're not even masculine anymore. They're just purely toxic. Because if you're operating in masculinity, then you understand the servant leadership of masculinity. You understand the caretaking and the protecting of masculinity. Like, I will always tell people, I do certain things not to lord over you, not to stress you, not to control you, but to protect the relationship that we're building.
Yes.
So if there's certain people that can't be involved, they can't be involved. There's certain places that we don't need to be in certain environments we don't need to be in. We don't need to be in those environments. If there are certain things about our lives that has changed and now it's creating so much stress that is damaging our relationship, we need to change this situation so that we can protect the relationship. It's not about control. It's about protecting what we're building so we can continue to build it. Right.
Yes.
But
and men and women who call someone a simp, though, I wanted to not get off of that too quickly here, though. But typically, a man and a woman who say something like that, it is because they know they're inadequate.
Yes.
They know that they don't measure up, and they want to stay in that low vibrational arena, and with no intention on elevating themselves. And they're bitter because they are determined to stay the way they are, and they can't find the kind of woman they want who's going to put up with it. So they call the man who understands, who gets it, who gets how I gotta give to get what I want. This is somewhat unrelated, but it's kind of relatable, because of what I just said. My mom required that when we got summer jobs that we give her a portion of our money.
Right.
My sister and I. And it wasn't that I loved giving up my money because, I'm just getting some money. So I'm thinking of all the things I'm going to buy. So I wanted to keep it all for myself. But I honored my mother's request. And I gave her the money because of, what she wanted it for, what she was trying to teach me in doing that. My sister, on the other hand, she sometimes most times struggled with giving up her portion of the money. What she did one is, and sis, if you watch this, please forgive me, but I was, trying to make this an example. She called a meeting with me to tell me, hey, we got to revolt against mom because she treating us like slaves. She want us to give us our money and clean the house and all that kind of stuff, and we got to band together. And I was like, sis, I'm going to do what I'm told because I'm trying to get the car this weekend. I'm trying to maintain, the privileges of doing what I'm told. I'm not about to go out here and mess up my good thing, fooling around with you, disobeying our mother. In how this relates to this situation, a good man or woman understands the very basic principle of, I want this to work. So I'm going to take care of him and make sure he's loved and he knows that I want him and I appreciate him and I am grateful for him being in my life. And he ain't going to ever have to look at another woman because I'm going to satisfy him in a way that makes him feel that I'm enough. And I'm not going to lose my dignity or put myself in a position where I'm constantly giving. I'm going to encourage him in such a way and do for him in such a way that he will feel a sense of responsibility to give me what I need as well. So we can work together. The man who don't think any of that's necessary is the man who doesn't want to be any different, who's prideful and probably a narcissist and probably sees women as a problem because they forced all the women he's dealt with has forced him to level up in some kind of way, wanting him to be better, and he's not interested. So, yeah, when another man or woman refers to a man as a simp because he's doing things, I think that's bizarre and crazy. Have you seen it where women will call a man weak and say you too nice?
Yeah, actually, hell, I was told that once.
That's crazy.
I was literally told that I was too nice and too open, and she was going, and eventually she would use me or cheat on me. And
wait a minute, you lying?
No, I'm dead serious.
She did not say that.
Yeah,
you're exaggerating. You're just trying to sensationalize your little page.
No
way.
I'm not. No. I'm not. Look, and what?
Are you serious?
So I got married at 19 and to a young lady I dated through high school, and we was married for 17 years. So the first time I was single was I was 36, 37 years old. So my first time into this whole dating world. And the first person that I met after like 2 months, you're too nice, you're too amenable to my desires and what I want, because I didn't know how to treat a date like it was a date. I treated a date like you was my wife. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know. I didn't understand how adults did this thing in my mid 30s. And yeah, she literally said that she would use me and cheat on me. And I was like, wow. But it was eye-opening, because at that time frame, if I took you on a date, we going to Legal Seafood, we going, to Chops, even though I've never been to Chops, but we're going to Maggiano's. I'm taking you out. We in the mid 2000, in 2009, 2008, 2009, I'm finna go drop, $2 bills on this first date.
Right.
And I didn't know how to do that thing, because that's what I did as a married dude, especially when I was working in IT. That's what I did as a married dude. But I've been married since I was 19. So this was foreign to me. So I was appreciative that she actually said it, because we started going to Starbucks, because I know
that's right.
And I started having to step back a little bit. Now, it took me about good 6-8 years to really get my handle on this thing, which caused me, it took me a while to get my handle on it. But no, there are women out there that will take advantage of and say that you are too nice. You're too, they want the fussing, the arguing. I've had a woman that told me that she loves to argue because that's just passion in the relationship.
Lord
and I was like, you can't argue, the majority of the time thinking that that's passion and that, oh, we're going to have the makeup sex and all that kind of stuff. No, I don't even want to have sex with you because you're getting on my last damn nerve. Right. Like, I don't do all this. Like, the way I'm talking right now is the loudest that I would get. I wouldn't even get this loud if me and my lady were having an argument. I don't even talk this loud.
Right.
Like,
it's not necessary. Use your words.
And then I never name call. That name calling, you're this, you're that.
Yes, I'm not about that life, that cussing and all that loud and screaming. Oh no, I never did all that nonsense.
Because once you say it, you can't take it back. You can't take that mess back. You said it. You can apologize, but that's all. But I may forgive it. I may not. But I always got it in my mind. Oh, you called me a worthless bastard. I that's always going to be in my mind. That's what you really think of me. You know what I'm saying? So So if you told me I was weak, then I'm always going to think that no matter what I do, no matter how much I display who I am, your mindset says I'm weak. So I can't deal with that. And
that's the kind of thing that makes a man feel like I can't talk to you.
Yeah. And you can't. And then you hold that stuff in. You don't talk to that person. You don't tell that person what's going on. Because you can't trust your person. You know how hard it is let me tell you something. For any ladies who's watching this on any of these platforms, if your man feels comfortable enough to open his emotions to you, you have gained a huge measure of trust from that man. But the moment you break that trust, he will shut that door forever. Forever, that door is shut. Because the way we grow up in this world, if a man is emotional, he's weak. And if you make him think that that's what you think, he's never going to tell you anything. He's going to keep everything inside. And all that stuff is going to build up. And then you know what he's going to find? He's going to find that work wife. He's going to find that work wife that he can trust. And I hate to say it, but when a woman finds a work husband, she may just contemplate doing some things with him. But if a man finds a work wife, if she ever opens the door for them to do something physical, 9 times out of 10, he's going to take it. So, and I'm not saying it's the woman's fault, but you created an environment where he feels justified in it because he can't talk to you. You think that if he's angry, upset, if he's emotional, like I'm gonna get, I'm very transparent. I've always been transparent because I don't really care what other people think, right? But because I didn't grow up I grew up with my uncles and my grandfather, but I didn't grow up with my father in the house or even in town, right? Even if he was in town, that would have made a difference. But when I see these movies and they have that loving father-son moment, and it could be a stupid movie, a comedy, whatever it is, it could be a cartoon. If there's a loving father-son moment, I get teary-eyed.
Yes,
because of that.
Course.
And
I know all about that too.
If a woman tells me I'm weak because of that, oh, you done. My son he went to Air Force boot camp. I had some crazy dreams last night, but then once I woke up, I'm sitting there looking at the ceiling and I just started thinking about my son. What's going on with him? What's happening? And I was emotional in the middle of the night. Well, it was earlier this morning.
Yeah.
Now, the lady that I'm with, I can tell her that. Yeah, I can tell her that. But if she ever said something to the effect that, oh, you weak up there worried about your son, I'll be like, you got to go. Because I can't trust you with my emotions.
I'm with you.
Give me
high five.
There you go. But
I'm with you.
But there are that's what some dudes, like some of the guys who come in here, they've just men that I've known. Oh man, you doing too much, for your lady, man. You catering to your lady too much. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to keep this woman. What the hell wrong with you? I'm trying to build a relationship. Exactly. What the hell wrong with you? It's the same thing on the other side. You know, the woman she's trying to build a relationship. That's what a good woman or a good man does. You know, now I'm not gonna run behind her, ooh, baby, what you want? Ooh, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. And I'm constantly,
that's doing too much.
That's doing too much. I'm not that guy, but there are guys who do too much. There are women who do too much, and they're doing it for the show. They're trying to just get the person, just so they can wave in the air that I got a man, I got a woman, instead of actually building a relationship. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sometimes, no, you're fine. I'm just, excited to get my words out and be cutting you off too. But I was just gonna say, those people who do that, they're feeling awkward in who they are as a person, and they feel that the only way I can make somebody care for me is to buy them stuff or to compliment them all day, every day, or to let them get away with things that I would never let, say in the case of a woman, let one of her girlfriends get away with. Man can do anything, and she will kiss his ass and make provision and excuses for him, and vice versa. It just depends on who you're dealing with. But these people who are so desperate that no matter what you do, they'll do something nice for you and take care of you and all that kind of stuff, no matter how bad you are to them or how dismissive you are and how irrelevant you feel in their lives. They're dealing with some hurt and some insecurities and some things that have happened in their lives that make them feel like they don't know how to keep you unless they giving you everything they want, sexing you, buying you things, making you feel like no one is as good to them as you are, and no one makes them feel like you do, even if he or she is not doing anything much at all. A person in their pain and their hurt and their insecurities, are trying to hold on because they don't know how. They don't have the tools to know how to just be authentic and loving, and that be enough.
And they don't. And Miss Prissy and Jamie said something that's similar enough. Jamie was saying that if somebody says that he's too good or too nice, he wants to know, like, what are you comparing that to? And Miss Prissy is talking about they haven't been around a healthy situation. And it reminds me of a couple that I was coaching about 5-6 years ago. And one of the things that we got to was the fact that she said that he never yells at me, calls me out of my name, or raises his hand to me, and I'm not used to that, and he's being too nice. She had this expectation that that's what he would do because that's what she's experienced. She's always experienced men raising their hand, raising their voice, calling her names, being creating this toxic environment. She was used to that. So when she had a husband and they were married, they was looking at getting engaged. That's why I was working with them. And as they were progressing, that was something that they wanted to, he didn't understand why she would have this mentality that he's been too nice. And when I compared it to what she had experienced, I was like, that's why she has this dilemma, because this has been what she's been used to for, 20 years of adult dating. And she's not accustomed to you taking care of her, you speaking to her with tact, and you being encouraging and trying to solve an issue instead of yelling and fussing and demanding and telling. So if they've never experienced it, that's another part of the hurt. If all they've experienced is this thug nation, then that's all they know. And it's just like dudes. I know some guys, from their mom to every woman they've married, every woman they've dated, they've had nothing but heartache and roughness from them. And so them as a man, every woman is trifling. Every woman is trying to take advantage of you. Every woman is violent, and they'll repeat it over and over again. And even though I don't counsel people in here, I hold court sometimes. And I have to tell the dudes, like, look, man, that's not every woman. That's not even the majority of women. That's just the ones that you're attracting because that's what you're used to. So you naturally go to those women. Yeah, now
that's what you go after.
And they'll claim that that's not what they're going after, but subconsciously they are.
Yeah, because there's a certain look they're looking for. You know, like a lot of men, they're not all, but a lot of them are not interested in women their age. They're not interested in women close to their age. And they're going after women who are influencers who show their ass and titties a lot online, and those women who may be considered visually even out of their league. But that's what they want. That's what they visualize. They're not interested in finding someone who's beautiful, articulate, smart, caring, who's their age, who will take care of them and love on them. They're interested in finding someone who can fulfill the fantasy in their head. And so if you're just looking at a person as objectifying them and looking for some fantasy and not really vetting them, you're going to get what you get. You know, the dating process should be a time where you're really, really delving in and asking questions and trying to find out who you're dealing with. If you keep getting the same kind of guy or gal, that is most likely because you keep looking at and trying to go for the same kind of guy or gal. At some point, you have to say, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
What am I drawing to myself? What am I doing to attract this? Or why do I keep going after this kind whose energy is not aligned with what I want? What that I keep being attracted to this? Because I don't feel that you're just being duped. You know, people, as we get older, we start to realize we play a part in our own, drama.
Yeah, we play a part in our own demise.
I'm going to say I have.
Oh,
okay, let me give you an example. As a young woman, I wanted a guy who was, tall, dark, and handsome, and, nice to me, obviously. But, I was really concentrating on looks and, not really focusing on asking all the deep questions that you need to know and really, poking the bear a bit to try to kind of get them to open up and find out who they were. It's just, if you're nice to me and I'm attracted to you, and at the time when I was a Christian, you had to be a Christian, okay? So all that other stuff, you don't go into details. We got Jesus, that's enough. We'll just get together and, we'll figure it out as we go. Should you look good? You know Christ? What could possibly go wrong? And what you realize as you get older and you mature and your wisdom grows and stuff, you realize that you are elevating and growing in such a way that what used to appeal to you does not appeal to you anymore.
Mm-mm.
And now you are possibly with a person who is not growing with you. They're remaining the same, and you're constantly going up and above where you were in a positive direction. And now you have a lot of that kind of stuff, and so now you're to navigate this new reality. And that's what people don't think about when they're going out here picking people because of body parts and how they look and all that kind of stuff. Not that you can't be attracted to folks. That ain't what I'm saying.
No, you have to.
I definitely believe, that adds to a good connection is being able to visually see a person. But this is the thing. When you're operating in the right mindset, those things that you used to operate in the physical will be transcended with a spiritual awareness that will make a person look in a way that causes you to be attracted to their soul, and that will resonate outwardly. And what you thought you were attracted to before can totally change because your mindset is right, your spirit is right. You're looking for something more, and that's the thing. If people are not happy and keep picking the wrong kinds of people, that's because the requirements for that person they want in their life is a bit shallow.
It is. And your requirements got to be deep. And the first part of understanding those requirements is to know who you are. Like it took me a little bit of time to understand truly who I was, because like I said, from what 15 to 37, I was with the same person, and we went from high school to marriage to life, right? It took me a little bit of time to recognize who I am, so that I can determine what works with me, what I desire to have with me. And even still, there are sometimes you still make some mistakes, but you have to know how to get, well, I ain't gonna say mistakes. You try a person and you recognize that this person is not it. And then you move on. You know, you find the next person. But then I had to start looking even a little bit deeper and a little faster to realize, okay, I met you. Within the first few weeks, I should know, I'm starting to know whether or not this is something that's tangible, that can be real, because people can display these things, but I begin to watch their actions and their words more carefully. You know, I see what they do, because for those, like that term, equally yoked, right? Sometimes I hate it, sometimes I like it. But that term, it goes far beyond we the same religion. Because you got people, you got divorce rates with religious people is just as high as anybody else, right? Because people will act the role of what they supposed to be, or what this religion says, or what this culture says. But then when they get into the reality of the relationship, all of a sudden things are a little bit different, because that real person comes out. Their real soul, their real spirit begins to come out and shine. And when that shines, it's like, oh, hell no. You know, because I've seen those people and I've been around those people where they're going to show me, they down for me, they understand me, they doing it. But then it starts trickling away. And then they start creating arguments. They start trying to control my movements. They start trying to going through my phone. They want to, and they're creating things that's not even real. Like not even real. Like I know YouTube and TikTok can't see you, but when you have a person that looks and says that, oh, Charlie's on his Facebook, she's too pretty to be on his Facebook. What the hell? You're creating something. I've only met this woman twice in person, you know, and both times it was not like it was something, you know what I mean? And there were other people that were my friend. This person been my friend for 15, 20 years. Oh, she's too pretty to be your friend for 15, 20 years. And you want me to believe that y'all ain't never done anything? Yeah. Because if for 15, 20 years, we had plenty of opportunities that if we wanted to be together, we could have been together. Or this person is too pretty to be your friend. Do you know how much this person gets on my nerves if I take them in a dose larger than like 4 hours? More than 4 hours at that point, it's this chocolate liqueur I used to get from when I lived in Germany. It's mixed with a brandy. The first shot is really good. It tastes great. But the second shot, it started to hit you a little hard. Third shot, all you taste is this strong ass brandy and you just can't take it no more. That's how that person was. And even when it was demonstrated, when the person was invited to hang out with us, I'm like, look. And after a little bit of time, like, you see how they get on my damn nerves? And the friendship, and I'm raw with the friendship. I'm like, okay, you know what? It's time for you to go home, because you get on my nerves. It's time for you to go home. And I just, you just can't rock with that kind of thing. Denise said, I want to see Charlie.
What'd she say?
She said, I want to see Charlie.
Here I am.
Well, she's on YouTube. She can't see your face.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Take them glasses. Take them glasses off. That's Charlie.
Can she see me?
Yep.
Hey, Denise. How are you? I wish I could see you too, sis.
I haven't figured out how to do that on for the TikTok people.
Okay.
So I'm streaming on different things.
I gotta know how to get on YouTube.
Woman, I done told you how to do that before. But back to the matter at hand.
Back to the matter at hand. Let's talk about the matters.
Yeah. I mean, the real thing about it is we really do have to first understand ourselves, what our standards are for a relationship, for somebody to be with us, and then go through all the processes of finding and being with that person that does match up with us. Because some of us are so desperate and quick and wanting to be in a relationship that we don't take the time to truly evaluate whether or not a person is good for us or not, you know. And then when we do get with a person, we don't understand that change is a constant of the universe and things are going to change. Are we going to adapt and grow together, or are we going to allow change to separate us over time? And then when that change does separate us, we looking back saying, I don't know what happened. Well, it happened back there when we both had this experience, but you start going that way, I start going this way. We never brought it back to center so that we can share in our experience and still grow together and be one together, you know, instead of going opposite. Because, I mean, hell, I'm 51 right now. In 20 years, my health won't be the same as it is today. It ain't going to be bad. It's not going to be bad. But I probably won't be running too much. I still just be walking, but not too much running. You know, I get on my tippy toes, I won't jump, kind of thing. Certain things that are not heavy today is going to be real heavy then. Those are, I mean, that's a physical change, but there are emotional changes that will happen, because for me to not be able to physically do everything I used to do, that's going to mess with my head. I already know it is, so I'm trying to prepare myself for it now. You know, my daughters get married. That's going to bother me, because no man is good enough for my daughters as far as I'm concerned, you know. But we have to, but that's just a surface idea of that things will change in people's lives, and you have to be willing to make those adjustments as you go, because a marriage, a long-term relationship or marriage, whichever one you want to do, it's work. It's constant work. And Charlie just pressed something again to take herself off, which is kind of fine because I'm about to end this in a minute anyway. I'm about to end this in a minute because I gotta open this business up and go open the popcorn shop up. But we do, like T said, we have to ask the right questions in the very beginning. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it now. I appreciate everybody for being on here. Every Wednesday we're gonna do relationship TikTok. This was supposed to be on the Art of Tantric Love channel, but somebody or somebody's got mad that I was talking about this subject, and so they reported me to TikTok. That is some bullshit. That is some weak-minded stuff, and that goes directly to the point. One of the many points of the conversation is that we are living in this world where people, if you don't join them in their mindset, if you don't join them in their way of thinking, then they want to cancel you. They want to kick you to the curb. They want you to be silenced. And no one should be silenced. If you feel a certain way, if you like a certain type person, if you want to be in a certain type relationship, if you don't like certain type people or things, you should be able to live in that. You should be able to speak on that. And if there's an audience that wants to hear it, or that agrees with you or disagree with you, but are open enough to talk about it, you should be able to have those conversations. But when somebody says that, no, I want to shut you down because I don't agree with you, exactly, that's misery loves company, and people want to drag you down. People want to drag you down every time. So I'm going to end it there. Jamie, hold up. You need some popcorn. You know the popcorn shop is right down the street from where you live, 15 minutes. You know how to get here. It's open. It'll be open as soon as I leave here. I own a gourmet popcorn shop called Uncle Renz Popcorn. You can go to the letter U, the letter R, the word popcorn.com if you want to order some popcorn from me. And I also own a cigar lounge 3 doors over from it. If you want to be on Facebook, the group is the Art of Tantric Love. Join that group on Facebook. Also on TikTok. Hopefully the suspension will go away. But please go to my YouTube channel, The Art of Tantric Love, so I can grow that channel and we can have these discussions there. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you, everybody on YouTube. Thank you, Errol, for the super chats, the donations. That's an amazing thing. I'm going to be spending a lot more time doing lives during the week. Tomorrow on the YouTube, on this YouTube channel, on this TikTok channel, on this, well, not this Facebook group, though. It's the Why I Left Religion on Facebook. We will continue with our Genesis story of what's wrong with the Bible. Genesis chapter, I think we're at 45, 47, 45, 46, something like that. And that'll be tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a great day. Remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations. And I got to turn 5011 different these three off. End. And end the stream. End.